Hello, in this video we're going to cover all the expectations of the week one of the Canva program, expectations for you and expectations for your students. So if you remember in a previous video, you will be using Mouse Create as the method for project-based learning that will help support what you're doing in the community garden portion of this program. And there is an expectation of a minimum of 3 hours per week of this program to be used with Mouse Create. So let's take a look at the projects on our playlist that we populated in a previous video. These 6 projects now are what you're going to be doing for that online portion of project learning. So all focused around design. And I do want to highlight that these projects you should be working towards, as the facilitator of this group, using the content in this project to help support the work you're doing with your community garden. So for instance, learning about graphic design, different color palettes, design layout and typography. This is going to be useful for potentially signs that your students can make in the community garden, or resources in terms of promoting the community garden. So these tools and skills, as you go through the steps of each one of these projects, it might not specifically be directly attached to your community garden, but that's up to you, the facilitator, to reinforce the learnings of the community garden while students go through the projects in Mouse Create. Now, to get started with week one, I want to share the resources again with you. So back in the this slide deck here, the professional development, slide 8, we see a breakdown of the projects and expectations of how to run these projects for the week. But we see even more detailed view of that in the program schedule. So here's the week one projects. Now, for you as the facilitator of this program, the expectation before going into week one is that you have completed each one of these projects. It's very important for you to go through Mouse Create, go through the steps, and understand how each one of these projects works. Now, we covered 8-bit pixel artists in the previous video, and it's again, it's up to you to go through these other projects that are now in your playlist. I encourage you to use the program schedule to understand whether or not you should do these synchronously or asynchronously, and to be mindful of the end of the week program activity, which is the group meeting that should take about 30 minutes. Now, in this group meeting, you're going to want to be using Mouse Create to screen share some student projects. So at this point, at the end of week one, if you go to the group work menu, you should see all the student work there. Perhaps you're having a half-hour Zoom or Google Meet call where your students and you are covering the content by going to the group work tab and showing off some of the work that some of the students have created by clicking into it and seeing the discussions, the project work, the images, the text that they have uploaded. So just be mindful of that. So again, your expectation before going into week one, you want to go through each one of these 6 projects. So if I go into the basic elements of graphic design, we have 14 steps here. It's important for you as the facilitator of this group to just navigate through it. Before you bring it to your students, you want to understand what pictures are here, what text is here, what is the exact work that students need to upload. So on this particular project, you'll see step 13 here. But this step has required tasks. That's going to be an important step because if you recall, that's the one with this requirements box where we can upload text, images, and files. So your expectation right now, I would like to ask that you go through each one of these 6 projects before you get started with day one. And while you're going through these projects, be mindful and think about how the program schedule and the professional development, this slide deck is going to suggest you use these different resources. Excellent. So after you've done all 6 of these projects, you are ready for your students to begin week one, and you can begin this program.